Service, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Old school.
Going to be stolen, I think, by the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Ray rocked the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
Stolen by Bird and the cut to DJ. Yeah! Buckle up for Kobe Bryant.
New era.
Oh! A jawbreaker! Curry, way downtown. Bang!
It's all basketball.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace them up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
And we continue our journey of filling in for Rick Ballou and Hacker After Dark. Just a few more days before they come back, and we will be right in the beginning stages of training camp. Right now, you are locked into the Open Gym here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. RJ Saunders here with you. Dylan Denmark also in the studio with me. We are glad, honored, thankful that you guys are here with us. NBA Summer League action continuing in Las Vegas. SEC Media Days coming to a close. We do have the Open Championship underway. Also, big piece of news, Damian Lillard going back to the Portland Trail Blazers. So we have a lot to talk about over these next couple of hours, and we'd love your opinion on today's program. Two ways you can do so, either on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010, or on our various digital platforms, whether that be YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. So I'll basically start here with training camp coming along in a few short days. The line of if curiosity killed the cat, I have to believe that this is the most curious that we have been as a Jacksonville Jaguar fan base when it comes to training camp in quite some time. With Urban, I feel you knew what you were getting because you saw him coach in college, saw the kind of ship maybe he ran. At least you heard the stories. You had the idea of Peterson because we saw what he did in Philadelphia as a head coach. And although Urban, like Liam Cohen, had no NFL head coaching experience, Urban was a long time head coach in college. Liam Cohen, we have yet to see what he can become as an NFL head coach. So this is a Jacksonville Jaguar team, however, that has a lot of returning characters here. And I just want to know from you, with a new coach, a shiny draft pick that's getting more hype than we've ever seen in this city as an individual, Trevor Lawrence, with the extension, he's coming back for another season. What are you most curious about going into this training camp? We've heard from guys like John Shipley. He wants to see if the secondary is enough for one coach, Anthony Campanile, to work with and do his job as a first-time defensive coordinator. J.P. Shadrick, outside of the offensive line, wants to see what the defensive line interiorly is going to look like, especially once the pads go on and you're able to hit. So for me personally, I really want to see how much of this offense has been picked up since we last heard about that squad being in the building. I want to know how comfortable Trevor Lawrence looks in that offense once we have a couple of days and sessions of training camp under our belt. We saw the video of Trevor, De'Ami Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter. We all saw them in the Bahamas. I'm sure they were probably doing things in which were diving in deeper into the playbook in terms of their plays, how they're going to be able to get their touches, at least you hope. But I do remember Jamal St. Cyr, when we had him on last, talking about once we see this offense and its full allotment, we're going to like what we see. And for me, I think in training camp, what I would love to see in terms of simulation when it comes to that offense is I would like to see at some point in training camp or hear about in training camp that they are working on their automatics. They're working on what are we doing? What's the game plan? What is Trevor thinking? What does he need to do on third down? And what are we doing on opening drives? Now, I understand the latter part of what I'm asking for. It always changes from game to game. It always changes from team to team. So it's not something in which they can say, no, these are going to be the first however many plays of our script. However, I do want to see or hear rather, what are you doing on those opening drives? Let's start with third down. The Jaguars have had a major issue on third down. Person in particular, Trevor Lawrence. 29th in conversion percentage, 38th in completion percentage. Now, I did speak with Leon today before he had to do XL Prime Time. And for him, yes, like all of us here in Jacksonville, we want to see the Jags get after it. We want to see this team hit. We want to see them get down and dirty, especially in the trenches. We want to see what we have there. And I hope that happens, because maybe we do need to see just a little bit more toughness from this squad. Now, in saying that, I pray that this team stays healthy and comes out of this training camp healthy. Not only the main guys, but even those requisite pieces in which we need that are going to help us in the second unit, you know, giving guys like Josh Hines-Allen a breather, things of that nature. We're going to need everybody in order to be successful this year. But with a guy such as Liam Cohen, who's always saying the tape never lies, I think tape needs to be shown during practice of the simulations you do, so these guys can get an idea of where they need to be. And that makes me curious. Because what simulations are you doing outside of red zone? Leon seriously would always talk about after they would do conditioning drills. They would go into 2-minute drills. This is the scenario. This is the situation. Just to see how mentally tough those teams were in Jacksonville's past. And if you jumped off sides, mental mistake, mental error, you're tired, so maybe you're not thinking as clearly. But those are actually penalties. That's going to cost us in the game. So now you guys got to go back 15 yards. It's something that I think is going to be highly important for this team. And when we get into the opening drives category of all this, listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars have had 14 opening drive touchdowns in the last 100 games. I think the lifesaver or the breath of fresh air in all this is going to be Liam Cohen, because he led the NFL in opening drives last season. And the Jags have only scored 54 first quarter points last season. 3.2 was the average. Ugh. So nothing has really killed me more as a Jags fan than the opening drives. Because if you're making yourself something to eat and it's a Sunday and the Jaguars have the ball on the opening drive, you might as well just stay making yourself something to eat. You're not missing anything. And like I said, yesterday, the numbers show Liam last year in Tampa was the man in opening drive sequences. Can we do that here? Can it be simulated here? Because if it's not, or it's partially touched on, I'll be honest, makes me a tad bit nervous. Now, there are other things that do make me curious. Places such like the defensive line, the secondary, as we heard John Shipley talk about. Running back, who's getting the snaps day one? Is anybody's position solidified there at the running back one position? And everyone's favorite, 3, 2, 1, offensive line. But in a league where the scoreboard is getting lit up time and time again from across the NFL, it's time for us to have that. And how many times have we been saying that now over the years? In the Trevor Lawrence era, we want to have our guy at quarterback. We want to have a guy that transcends the game of football, bigger than the game of football. You see him outside of his helmet and outside the stadium and off the football field. Everybody knows him. We want our forward-thinking head coach. I want scores, especially on opening drive sequences. And not just field goals. I'd like to see a touchdown. Is that so hard to ask? Am I being evil and asking that? Because I think to be successful this season, you have to look at, and I understand there are many things there, but you have to look at the opening drive sequences and third down conversions. And that's where you're going to be the most successful this year. If you can focus in on that, make that better. Put them in simulations where you can attack that. You can see what's going on. Be able to ask Trevor Lawrence questions. Trevor's able to ask you questions. And I understand that there's going to be other things that are, a standard practice in training camp. There's many other things in which they need to attack. There are still some guys who are fighting for their professional lives here. But I think you do have to be as equally as locked in into other simulations that you were horrible at last season. And it just makes me a tad bit curious as to whether or not they are going to do that and accomplish that while in the training camp portion. But those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear yours, 641-1010 on the text line or on our various digital platforms. Should college football expand to 30 teams? We discuss next with Matt Hayes on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
What's happening?
Tommy Mack joins Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl for the new and improved Helmets and Heels.
So let me get this straight.
New attitude, new time.
What exactly is it I'm not supposed to know about?
Catch the new look Helmets and Heels afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
This is Jennifer Marion at Randy Marion Cadillac. Are you ready to drive away today in luxury? Then you should check out Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Discover our luxurious lineup with over 100 Cadillacs to choose from, including the stunning Cadillac IQ, Lyric, Optique, and Vistique.
And here's something important. The $7,500 tax credit on EV vehicles will be gone in just 90 days.
That's right. Don't miss your chance to save while driving in style.
Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Plus tax tag Title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Vegas, 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 baby. Vegas, baby. Helmets and Heels is back at Circa Resort and Casino with 2 epic pro football contests, Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Here's the scoop. In Circa Million, pick 5 games against the spread each week for quarterly prizes and a $1 million grand prize for the season winner. Then there's the legendary Circa Survivor. 1 pick a week, no spread. Last one standing wins a guaranteed $15 million. Must enter in Nevada, then play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for all the details.
Plus, sign up for either contest and score 50% off a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino. You can even join the ultimate football kickoff with Helmets and Heels in Vegas, August 21st and 22nd while you enter. Book your stay at Circa now and chase $21 million in guaranteed prizes. No rake. For full contest details, check out 1010XL.com/Vegas. Vegas, baby.
I'm Max Fink. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gator!
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Your grandfather was stronger at 50 than you are at 40. Want to know why? His testosterone was 30% higher than yours. That's not genetics. That's modern life killing your hormones. Stress, chemicals, sitting, it's all crushing your T levels. Male Excel reverses it. Prescription testosterone, thyroid optimization, personalized to you. Over 100,000 men are already winning again. Your turn. Try MaleExcel.com. Free assessment because you deserve it. Your family deserves it.
Registration is now open for the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. With over $450,000 in cash and prizes, fun starts on July 13th with the inaugural Kickoff Beach Tournament that has a $50,000 cash first place prize. There's also a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the winner of the General Offshore Tournament takes home a Contender 28T with twin Yamaha 200s. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is poured at Southern Coast Seafood, now open Mondays. Enjoy craft for $12.99 a pound on Tuesdays. Drink Brackish Wednesdays with $1 oyster on the half shell. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka made right here in Jacksonville for whatever your sport is. If your sport is crab at Southern Coast, your vodka is Brackish. Southern Coast Seafood, now open Mondays. Brackish Vodka, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Franzi here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville's full of memorable sports moments. Remember Tiger Woods' 60-foot putt on the iconic 17th? Gary Coate called it better than most. Better than most. Well, Coil Fencing is better than most. They're better than all. Coil has been that for nearly 100 years. So if you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coil & Sons today. That's at 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
He's getting back from Atlanta. And if you are not getting your college football news from our next guest, are you actually getting college football news at all? That is the question. Let's welcome in Matt Hayes of XL Primetime and USA Today, joining us as he is coming back from SEC Media Days. Matt, how hard are you going to fight for next year's Media Days to be in Nashville?
I'd rather if it was in Jacksonville, actually. That'd be really good.
I saw you make the push, though.
Yeah, I think Nashville is easy because it's very accessible, it's walkable, it's nice. nice city. I know many in Jacksonville don't like to hear that, but that's the reality. It's a really nice city. It's very walkable, lot to do. So yeah, I'd make a push for that. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I did with Commissioner Sankey yesterday, and he kind of tipped his hand a little bit when he said they'll be back there. And I said, "You mean next year?" And he said that. I didn't say that. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to media days as a whole, I know you were in a lot of places. There was a lot that was going on down there in Atlanta. Just what stood out to you the most from this week in Atlanta during media days?
I think there were a few things, RJ. I think the Alabama players talking like about redemption and how, this season will be different. And, they've got the receipts and all debts will be paid. All that kind of stuff was said. But at the end of the day, you're talking about an Alabama team that might be the most talented team in the country, or certainly one of the most 3 or 4. But they have no idea what they're doing at the most important position on the field. No one has any idea if Ty Simpson will be a good player, if Austin Mack will be a good player, or if they have to rely on a true freshman at quarterback. So I think that's the key. One of the things I took away from it, I think Kalen DeBoer is a terrific coach. But at the end of the day, you can be a terrific coach. If you don't have a good quarterback, you're going to look like an average coach. That was one of the things. I think the idea that 2 of the best quarterbacks, not only in the SEC, but in the country, have, I guess it's 9 combined starts in their career. 2 for Arch Manning and 7 for DJ Lagway.
Right.
There's a lot being put on those 2 young dudes, a lot. I think they're both really, really talented, and I would expect those to have very big seasons, all things being equal, and offensive lines stay healthy and receivers stay healthy. I think both those guys are going to have big seasons. And I'll tell you what, the thing that really got me yesterday was the way Billy Napier was speaking with a lot of confidence, and he hadn't done that in previous years. And I think he's getting tired of hearing about a schedule. If you listen to him on Frangie show yesterday when we were talking with Billy, he's getting tired of hearing about the schedule. I think he and the players want to prove it. Their whole point is, we played that schedule last year, same schedule, same thing. Let's do it again. He tweeted something out or posted something on X, I should say, a couple days ago. It just said "spot the ball," period. He retweeted a SEC network post about Florida having the toughest schedule. And I think they're all tired of it. I think they all want to go out and show, all right, this team's different.
Matt Hayes joining us here on Open Gym, keeping on Florida as well as Billy Napier. He does say that this is the most talented team we've had in Gainesville. Now, we know as Jacksonville Jaguar fans, when there was one individual that said this is the best team that the Jaguars have ever had, and that, kind of blew up in our faces. Do you think that Billy Napier has accumulated what he would like to call the most talented team in Gainesville?
So I think they're talented, RJ. I don't think there's any question about that. I think they've got a lot of young guys that they've organically recruited. By organically, I mean they've started at the high school level and they've developed these guys. And if you really want to talk about the teams that win big consistently, it's the teams that can organically build and then supplement through the portal. Ohio State was a perfect example last year when they added those 4 key guys from the portal, including their starting quarterback. And then they won it all. So, I mean, Michigan did the same thing on the offensive line, and they won it all. So I think it's – you look at it, he's done everything right organically, the way he's thinking. He's always thought it's going to be like a 3-year deal, a 4-year deal, so they get right up to speed to where they want. And here's where they are right now. I mean, this is it. He's talked about how he knows all these guys in the locker room. He knows their parents. He knows who they are. He knows these guys on and off the field. He made a specific point yesterday to say there's no riffraff in that locker room. Like, they've got the chemistry now. And that's a really huge intangible that's never really talked about. So if you've got that chemistry, which you brought up the Jaguars, it was clear the Jaguars the last couple of years did not have that locker room chemistry. So I think if you've got that, and you've got an potentially elite player at the most important position on the field, then I think you've got a chance to have a pretty special year.
Now, when it comes to Billy Napier, and you brought it up earlier in this interview that he's tired of talking about the schedule and being asked about it, it is a tough one, like last year's. But you looking at it, you knowing and understanding the team and just how it's built and how it is and how it looks on paper, realistically, for Gator fans, just what should be the ceiling record-wise with the schedule that the Gators have going into this year? Ceiling.
I can tell you this, the way he was talking, the ceiling is they can win every game. And I think they truly believe that. Now, if it happens, we'll see. I think the ceiling for this team is probably 10 in the playoffs, but I think the floor is probably 7 and 5. So I think they're very good on offense. If they stay healthy, if the offensive line, which they really believe is going to be a good offensive line, they stay healthy. You got Jaden Ball, one of the best running backs in the country. You got the two Wilson kids at receiver who are really electric. They've got a chance to really score some points this year. Defensively, they got really good in the second half of last season when they kind of turned things over to Ron Roberts at DC, and I think it's going to be nothing but improving there as well. I think they might have a little issue on the defensive interior, but they get after the quarterback. They got guys on the edge, and they're good in the secondary, too. They can cover. That's kind of what the game's about now on defense. Can you get the quarterback? Can you affect the quarterback? And can you cover the secondary?
Final couple of moments with Matt Hayes of XL Primetime joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. If the Florida Gators are to have a successful year and DJ Lagway is wowing each and every week, do you think he's in that Heisman conversation? It doesn't seem like as of right now he's in it. I think there are a lot of individuals that want to see it first, but if the Florida Gators have a successful year this year, do you see him in the mix?
Yeah, sure. Sure, absolutely, RJ. Think about this. Week 3, after they have a couple of cupcakes against Long Island, South Florida, so they go and play at LSU against another potential Heisman candidate, Garrett Nussmeier, the LSU quarterback. So let's say LSU beats Clemson and LSU's unbeaten going to that game. You got 2-0 versus 2-0. It's a big game of probably top 15 ranked teams. Like LSU might be the top 5, Florida could be the top 15. Then you're talking about a legit showcase for DJ Lagway where he could show, he's going up against who many believe in Garrett Nussmeier is a top-tier Heisman candidate. He goes up in that game and plays well and they win. Yeah, he's immediately going to be elevated to that status.
Now, it was hilarious to me, Greg Sankey was talking with you and Frank about how, a 12-team playoff working would justify that of it being extended to a 14 or even that of a 16-team playoff. Eli Drinkowitz talks about how maybe the college football playoff should be 30 teams. What would be a sweet spot for the college football playoff in terms of teams that, should make it in terms of the number of teams that we should have in a college football playoff?
So first, let me say that Eli and Mike Leach are buddies. Eli said he was on the treadmill this morning, and he started thinking about Mike Leach. Leach used to always say 64 teams. And Eli thought about, what's the percentage of the NFL? Since we're doing everything NFL, what's the percentage of NFL teams that go in the playoff? And 44%. 44% of the Power 4 teams in Notre Dame is I think, about 30, close to 30, or around out to 30. That's really where you got that number. I think the ideal number that everybody wants is 16, and I think they'll eventually get there. I think what's going to happen is the SEC will eventually get to a nine-game league schedule, which is what the Big Ten wants, to acquiesce on the 5-11 format. The SEC getting to that 9-game schedule will mean the College Football Playoff Selection Committee will have to say their number one priority is strength of schedule. And I think they'll eventually all iron that out, and they'll get to that 5-11 format. And the SEC will play a 9-game conference schedule, and the ACC will play a 9-game conference schedule.
Wrapping things up with Matt Hayes of XL Primetime and USA Today here on Open Gym. Does Nick Saban come back to coach, whether that's in NFL or college?
No. Miss Terry will never let him come back. Never. But that's, at the end of the day, his world revolves around his wife. She will never let him come back. And he's making a lot of money at ESPN. He's having fun. I would be just incredibly blown away if he came back to coach, NFL or college.
Even if somebody gave him a king's ransom offer?
You know, I mean, you never say never, obviously, in any situation.
Right.
I'm just telling you, RJ, I would be just beyond shocked if he did. Because then his wife, Terry, would have to say yes to that. And I can't imagine that happening.
Now, let's shift our attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars just real quick before we let you go. What's your biggest curiosity going into this training camp with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
The offensive line, man. It's always been that. Honestly, we can talk about the number 3 wide receiver or number 4 wide receiver. You can talk about the interior on the defensive line. Excuse me, with a depth at edge, it's the offensive line. I want to see if Wyatt Milam could win the left guard spot, give him a little more physicality. You know, I want to see if now going into training camp, he knows it's his job, how Walker Little embraced left tackle spot. I want to see if Anton Harrison bounces back from certainly a regression-type season of last year. They've got to play better for them to run the ball. They've got to play better, more importantly, to protect their quarterback. They've spent a lot of money in this quarterback. He's now in year 5. You've got to see what you got in this guy. You've spent a lot of money in him. So they've got to be able to protect him. They've got to be able to get guys on the perimeter that can get open. And that's why they traded up to get Travis Hunter. So let's see it happen now.
All right, before we let you go, Matt, just let us know what you got coming up with things at USA Today.
It's all college football all the time, bro. It all starts in about, I would say, about 2.5, 3 weeks when the fall camp or training camp, however they want to call it begins. It's all college football all the time at that point, bro.
You hear him daily on XO Primetime. You read his great work on USA Today, and we got him out of this interview in just under 13 minutes. He is Matt Hayes. Matt, thank you so much for doing this, man. Get back safe, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Open Jim.
There he goes, Matt Hayes. Got him out in under 13 minutes because we were told that there's one individual that would like to keep him on for 40. So
it's usually about 18.
18?
Yeah.
18?
17, 18. You did good. We're on schedule.
We are on schedule. And with that, let's stay on schedule. Was the Jacksonville Jaguars film junkie video a puff piece? Let's discuss next on Open Gym.
Let PGA pros straighten your morning drive with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser on Brunch with the Tour, Tuesday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL. Teed up by Apex Roofing and Contracting and Clearwater Irrigation. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A.
Here's Linda Beaver.
The dog days of summer are here, and so are the hottest deals of the year. Whether you're hauling down the street, cruising on the beach, or just escaping the heat, we have the ride you're looking for and the wow you experience you deserve. Save big on select models with sizzling summer savings, low financing, and limited time bonus cash on all trades. So don't sweat it. Come beat the heat at Beaver Automotive, where the summer deals will wow you.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy is never frozen. Always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses. No dry, crumbly subs here. Only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little guy with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand and a quality sandwich. So do what I do. Stop in at a Circle K and make yours a Dandy today.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
You down with JAG? Yeah, you know me. You down with JAG? Yeah, you know me. You down with JAG? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with JAG?
The Bold City. 1010XL, proud flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Summertime is busy with graduation parties, summer barbecues, festivities, family gatherings. The month of July, National Carpet Cleaning Month. So Zero Res is offering $45 per room of carpet clean and 20% off air duct cleaning services as well. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call them 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coatings, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the first coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Football season is almost here, so before it arrives, I'm going to get my home organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers. Anywhere that needs to be organized. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off during the month of July. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
It's hurricane season. Protect your home with 904 Gutters with a Z. That's right. Z as in zone defense for your home. Water damage hits hard. 904 Gutters with a Z hits back harder. Search 904 Gutters with a Z and make the right call.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Thank you to Matt Hayes as he travels back from Atlanta. Doing a great job covering the SEC Media Days for USA Today as well as 1010XL. We continue filling in for Rick Ballou and Hacker After Dark this week. It's Open Gym, RJ Saunders, Dylan Denmark here with you. And in life, you don't know what you don't know. Right? And I remember seeing this post. I forget where from or who made the original post, but it was into regards of Trevor Lawrence saying something along the lines of, not Trevor Lawrence saying it, but the post saying that we're 2 weeks away from training camp and there's this rumor spreading that Trevor Lawrence doesn't study. And immediately you see the comments, aha! I knew it. Trash. Trade him. How dare he? And Greg Rosenthal has had his opinions on Trevor Lawrence and whether or not this whole studying thing he takes seriously. Here is Greg Rosenthal on the rumor that Trevor doesn't study enough.
So it's a tricky thing to talk about because I hate it. Yeah. I hate those sort of reports when it doesn't feel fair. But since he's been in the league, I have heard whispers about that from people that have been around that team and would have more of a place to have knowledge about it. And because you do wonder, like, what is stopping this guy? And all the quarterbacks at the top of the game, like, it's almost understood that they're absolutely maniacal in their preparation and in their intelligence on field, and that sometimes takes a while to get there. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger, for instance, I always point him out, was that guy early in his career, and he became that guy. And so maybe Trevor Lawrence is just a little younger and a little further behind in the developmental track. But when I think about maybe what's gotten in the way for him just a little bit, I think, well, maybe his off-field, whether it's preparation or just learning the game enough, and that takes being in the NFL, maybe that's just what's, prevented him from getting 10%, 15% better and being the guy. So we'll see.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that, they heard what Greg Rosenthal said, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars come out with this video. However, it felt almost immediately that they come out with this video. Here was the Jacksonville Jaguars, a few players on the team, being asked who's the biggest film junkie, and this is who they say it is on their roster.
Probably QB1, man. I don't think people realize how much time and effort he puts into that film study. So, yeah, QB1, Trevor, for sure.
I mean, here, I would probably go like
Trevor got to be a quarterback.
Trevor, 4 years, something like that. But like just watching, I would say I'm up there for sure.
We all film room junkies this year. We ain't got no time for nobody to not be one. Everybody.
That's how we gonna hit our goals right there. You gotta know what your opponent's gonna do.
Now, our guy, Tom McManus, and I finally watched his podcast. I would encourage you all, to do the same. I finally watched his podcast to get an idea as to why he thought the video was that of a puff piece. And essentially, he's saying, to those who are saying that Trevor Lawrence doesn't study enough film, how are we to know? How is this honestly supposed to be a thing? I mean, are we in the room with them? He did feel that it was funny that you're having the kicker say that your quarterback watches the most film, because a funny thing about kickers probably aren't watching film. So he had to have probably seen Trevor Lawrence, or was sitting with Trevor Lawrence as Trevor Lawrence was watching film to better himself, maybe going along that road there. But he does bring up the point that goes so much into why Trevor maybe hasn't been successful as we would like to think. And what he names and how he goes about it is almost the same way in which I've gone about it when it comes to us as people who live in Jacksonville, everyday individuals, when we go to our job or in our relationships. We can't be great in dysfunction. If you're at a job that you feel is a hostile environment, or you're in a relationship, whether that be friendship or a romantic relationship, and it doesn't feel like it's going to help you get to the place in which you're trying to get to and be your best, you're not able to function. Now, Trevor Lawrence, I believe when he first got here, had a coach that probably could have not cared any more than he did after a Cincinnati game. And you also had another coach who, in my opinion, I feel checked out. So for me, there's another aspect of this that I've also gotten into that, I don't care how much film you watch, there is a portion of all this where the intangibles have to show. And there's been sparks in which we have seen where he's not able to show those intangibles. And at the same time, I think the only thing that really caught my ear with the whole Jacksonville Jaguar video is what Travis Etienne said. Now, I'm not taking it the most serious, but for him to say, well, we all have to be film room junkies this year, it's rather an interesting thing to say. I just thought that would be a thing in which all NFL players are in some sort of capacity. You are better than average in terms of being a film junkie. Trevor Lawrence can't watch film for everybody. He can't tell everybody where they need to be if they're not willing to watch film themselves. And maybe that's a part of the accountability in which Liam Cohen is bringing in this season to the Jacksonville Jaguars, because here's a guy that stands on the fact that the film does not lie. And whether you're Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas Jr., Cam Little, if you're not the biggest fan of watching film, well, you're going to be watching film with us, because we're going to show you what you're doing correctly. We're going to show you what you're doing incorrectly, and a fix needs to be made. And for that, I dig that about one Liam Cohen. However, I do believe that Trevor Lawrence does also understand it is year 5, and he needs to play a lot better. And I do want to say this. As an aside, I'm not trying to carry water for one Trevor Lawrence. Not making excuses for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, has all the talent. But there have been plays and there have been sequences and there have been developments that we have seen season after season after season where on the one hand you say, that's the guy. There he is. That's my man. Number 1 overall pick. Then on the other side, that's my man. Number 1 overall pick. There he goes. And there are many who are off of the train. Let's draft a quarterback. Let's trade for another quarterback. And I heard on the drill earlier today, if year 5 is just terrible, does the clock start to tick on one Trevor Lawrence? However, it seems to me he doesn't want the clock ticking on him. And he understands what he has and how much more he has left in the tank. And this was our franchise QB on Pardon My Take just a couple of days ago.
You try to treat them all the same, but I mean, realistically, like where I'm at in my career, I'm going to year 5, been an up and down so far the first 4 years for me, and just our team and our situation. I've had, this is my 3rd head coach. I've had a lot of turnover, a lot of change, but I really feel good about the situation we're in. I love Coach Cohen and the whole staff and everyone that's in, all the guys that were brought in free agency, just good dudes, good players too. But I really feel like we've done some great things this offseason as far as just speaking offensively, like the changes we've made, the system we're running, I have a lot of confidence in. This system is, tried and true. The LA and, Minnesota runs it now with O'Connell, all those teams, and they have a lot of success with it. So it's a great system for quarterbacks. And yeah, like where I'm at in my career, year 5, like it's time to go and start winning consistently and be not just that team where it's like, you're always like, no one really takes you seriously. You want to be that team that's always competing for, playoffs, Super Bowls, and you're in the hunt.
Yeah.
So that's, of course, I see it through that lens of like, yeah, it's year 5, and I feel like this is like getting into my prime. Like I got a lot of good years left ahead of me, and I need to really turn it on. And I think what we've built around me and what they've done this offseason has been a great start.
So does Trevor watch enough film? Does he take this seriously enough? Who are we to say that he does or doesn't? Now, as I said, there are a lot of times on the field that maybe you'll question. But I do believe that he is trying to give it his all to this city and to this football team. But I also do feel sometimes you're going to hear things such as he doesn't study enough or he doesn't study at all as just a reason to justify why there are those who don't want him as the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like earlier today, there was a random picture of Trevor Lawrence, his child, and a dog, who we find out later that's a gym at his house. And you had individuals that are here reaching. Cares more about his family than football. He's not lifting. He's not taking it serious. He's not watching film. Shut up. Me personally, I feel like Trevor does care about this city. Cares about the fan base and the franchise. He understands how different the city is, how much better the city is when the Jacksonville Jaguars are winning. We talk about it all the time, how there are teams in the NFL or teams in the NBA that are to be said that the league is better when those teams are good. Jacksonville as a city, I feel, is 100 times better when the Jacksonville Jaguars are winning. There's a different feel. There's a different energy. There's a different moxie about this place. And maybe with this Liam Cohen hire, maybe for the first time in his career, he's going to have what I thought DeMarcus Cousins got during his time in Sacramento. They had gone through about 5, 6, 7 different head coaches. And in my mind, they had finally pulled him off to the side and introduced him to a guy named Mike Malone, who idiotically they had fired later on. But that's Sacramento Kings. But they introduced him to Mike Malone, DeMarcus Cousins, and they said, this is your coach. We're not changing. We're going to move on with this, and we're going to grow together, and you're going to take us to new heights with Mike Malone, and we're going to win together. And maybe Trevor Lawrence is going through the same thing here. Maybe Tony Boselli is telling him, listen, this is your coach. This is the GM. I'm the EVP. No more firing. No more dysfunction. You just have to sling it now. However, at the same time and in the same breath, if he has not been studying enough, if he hasn't been studying at all, if we're to run with that, Liam Cohen seems to be the guy, in my opinion, that's going to hold him and the rest of the team accountable to where they can get to where they need to get to, because it's all going to start on film in terms of how and what they need to do to get better. Do you think Trevor Lawrence studies enough? I would love to hear your response, 641-1010 on the text line. Let's go back to Vegas. We did so earlier in the week with Steve Ashburner of NBA.com. Now let's chat with our man, Jonathan Von Tobel, and get the latest on Summer League and how he's evaluated the NBA offseason right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Start your Saturday with a whiff of the great outdoors.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman, and we bring you the fresh air of the great outdoors.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Coliber lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the first coast focused.
No static ever. Download the free 1010XL app for Apple and Android devices and take us with you wherever you go. 1010XL.
This summer, you can beat the heat at Best Bet, your premier poker destination. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a first-time card player, you'll find a cool retreat from the summer heat with thrilling games, big payouts, and refreshing drinks. Join us for an unforgettable experience. Cool off and cash in at Best Bet. The stakes are high, the cards are hot, and your chance for fun is guaranteed. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Who says there's no free lunch? Join me, Hicken, and Jaguar and Gator legend Fred Taylor for free food and football talk Friday, August 8th at Alhambra Theater. When you hear this...
Bye-bye! Brock Marionville chasing on 90-yard run.
Be caller 28 to win a pair of tickets to a free lunch with Fred. Doors open at 11. Jags talk, Gators talk, football talk, including a 1-hour Q&A with Freddie T. And we're buying you lunch. Stay tuned for this sound.
Bye-bye! Brock Marionville chasing on 90-yard run.
To win your tickets, courtesy of Jenkins Hyundai and Genesis of Jacksonville on Atlantic.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
It's Christmas in July at Beard's Diamonds with as much as 40% off everything in the store. Maybe it's time to treat yourself to a fabulous fashion ring, necklace, or bracelet. You can do it now and save as much as 40% off Beard's already unbeatable prices. And don't forget, Beard's is the town center's locally owned diamond superstore. Don't settle for the corporate chain store experience when you can get the value, service, and attention you deserve. Don't miss Christmas in July. Save up to 40% exclusively at Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Our next guest has the greatest Twitter handle in the history of the app, simply at me, JVT. He's the Hoop Head, senior NBA analyst, Vegas Stats and Information Network. VSiN also does incredible work with ESPN Las Vegas. He is Jonathan Von Tobel, and he joins us now on Open Gym. Jonathan, when I say I have missed our talks, my brother, I truly, truly mean that. How you been, man?
I'm good. You know, it's a busy time out here in Las Vegas. We got Mountain West Media Days. We're getting ready for college football. Summer League is out here, obviously, more importantly, when you're talking about the NBA.
Right.
Watching right now the Hawks and the Grizzlies go at it. So it has been a busy time despite it being the alleged quiet part of the calendar for sports.
Now, we bring the hard-hitting questions here to Open Gym. Question number one for you. How competitive would an Uno table be in Las Vegas?
Yeah, that was so I'm a little disappointed because that ended up being just like a promotion. It's going to be like a club. But it did get me thinking, like, man, would it be crazy? Because I'm sure you've played Uno with family and friends. I don't know. I brought this up to my co-host, Stormy Bonatoni. I don't know if you've played Phase 10 either, but that gets pretty aggressive as well. And then when you involve money and drinks on top of all of that, I mean, that could get pretty hot pretty quick. You know, as I made the joke too, you know, poker is obviously such a big deal. You have the math, the probability behind the hands. Like, can you imagine if you've got a skip, but the face card is 7 and the other guy's got 2 cards? You know, what's the plus EV play of the small blind? Like all these sort of things. So a lot of thoughts entered my head, but I would really love it, at least for like a day, to see what it would be like.
I would absolutely love it too. I mean, I'd book a flight to Vegas tomorrow if they had it at the table, and I don't even gamble like that, as we are joined by Jonathan Von Tobel here joining us, NBA analyst for VSiN. Let's start with the star of NBA Summer League and why I'm sure everyone did buy a ticket to the showcase, and it was to see that of Cooper Flagg. What did you think seeing him on the floor, and how do you think he'll be utilized with the Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah, I was lucky enough. I was in the building with my 2 kids for the second game for Cooper Flagg, and it was incredible to watch it in person. I mean, I don't even think the highlights do it justice for how easy it looks for him when he was on that floor. And, you know, that's a good thing, right? It's the old adage, if you're great in Summer League, it doesn't matter. And if you're bad in Summer League, it means everything. But when you watch just the way he can move, how physically imposing he looks just amongst his peers in this Summer League setting, it really does stick out in a big way. And it's just small things, too. It's not even just the highlights, the dunks, the three-point shooting, the way he set screens if he needed to, the way he would move with the ball, off-ball stuff. His defense, I thought, didn't get enough credit. There was a couple of times where he was moving his feet well. It was really impressive. I think this kid, if you tell me right now he's playing 70 games, I mean, he's a shoo-in to win Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to hit the ground running, and the media wants to give him that award so bad. They love these top overall picks. I was wildly impressed with what Cooper Flagg brought to the table.
He and the Dallas Mavericks are certainly going to be a tough out. However, OKC did win the NBA Finals, and by many accounts should be the favorites to win again. But you look at teams such as Dallas and other teams, not only in the West and the Eastern Conference, just want to know from you, just who are some teams that you feel will be standing in the way and truly give the Thunder a fight next season in their quest to repeat?
Yeah, so I think there's 2 ways to put this, right? So there's the teams that I think legitimately can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think there's just about 2.5, I will say. But for sure, the one I would put above all of them is the Denver Nuggets. I absolutely love what Denver did in this offseason, lest we forget that they were the team that pushed Oklahoma City to 7 games with Aaron Gordon on one leg and Michael Porter Jr. with one arm. They now go and they add Cam Johnson. They go and they get Bruce Brown. They get a backup for Nikola Jokic to spell him during the regular season. This team's loaded, I think, for Bear to go after a team that they were very close to upending themselves. I think that's great, and I keep bringing up this example. You know, on the surface, those acquisitions might not mean a lot, but if you go back 2 years ago, and I were to tell you before the trade deadline that P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford were the keys to the Dallas Mavericks making it to the NBA Finals, you would have thought I was crazy.
Right.
But it's about the fit. It's about how guys match up together on the floor, and I think that Denver had a lot of guys that are square pegs, square holes, are going to fit brilliantly with what Nikola Jokic wants to do. And the other teams, obviously, it's Houston, great defensive team. I'm still a Kevin Durant believer. You're talking about a dude that was averaging 26 on nearly 50, 40, 90 shooting splits. The guy's still brilliant, and he's going to help a team that was among the worst half-court offenses among playoff teams last year. They're going to be great. The half team that I want to talk about really quickly it's hard not to like the Clippers on paper with Bradley Beal now there. You know, when you look at Kawhi Leonard now finally coming off of a year in which he completed a playoff series healthy for the first time since the bubble, when you look at Beal sliding into that shooting guard spot, that was generally a weakness for them, right? Chris Dunn was playing in that spot. Bogdan Bogdanovic was playing in that spot a couple of times and weren't really getting a lot of shooting from it. And then on top of that, adding John Collins and Brook Lopez, that team, again, on paper looks great. But do we trust that Kawhi Leonard is going to be healthy? Do we trust that James Harden's not going to turn into a pumpkin in the postseason? I understand those trepidations, which is why I kind of throw them in that half mark.
Now, also with you throwing them in that half mark, I do remember looking at your Twitter page, and you said, you know, that Idris Elba picture. I would like to let everybody know that we are back up with the Bradley Beal acquisition for the Los Angeles Clippers. I do believe they're also going to be a very interesting team to look at. They made a lot of moves this offseason, as we are joined by Jonathan Von Tobel here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Have you enjoyed the parity in which we've seen in the NBA? I mean, with a league that's so dynastic in nature, we've had 7 different NBA champions, and maybe that's the parity that Adam Silver and the NBA wanted. But as a fan of the game, as you are, just your thoughts as to whether or not 7 different NBA champions have been beneficial to the association.
Yeah, I mean, I think totally it has been. I mean, first off, just from being a fan of a team, if you're hearing this right now, you should be happy. I mean, your team's got a shot, right? Like the way that this is now constructed, you can revitalize your roster if you draft right, if you spend your money correctly, and all of a sudden you're going to be a team that can turn things around, make it to the postseason, and potentially make a run. I think that's always good for a sport, to keep a fan base engaged, obviously to sell tickets, to get money, all those sort of things that keep you involved. And obviously what the NBA has done is done everything to get that, right? Not only with the new CBA, but including the new play-in, which has allowed more teams to at least play for some things at the tail end. I think it's brilliant with what this is. And even look at Game 7. If I remember correctly, Game 7 ended up drawing 16 million people to watch that thing.
Right.
Like, people are interested in parity in these new teams and watching them. And I think that's a really good thing for the NBA. So I don't really understand the complaints from some people that think it's a bad thing. I think it's always good. I mean, look at the most popular league in the country right now. It is the National Football League. And while we do have a dynasty in some sense in the Kansas City Chiefs, each year there is parity. Each year there's new contenders. Each year there seems to be new teams at the top that could potentially win that thing. And that NFL, that league is thriving. And I think that's a good thing for any sports league.
Is next season LeBron's last?
I'm going to say no. So I think what's interesting, and if you go back and listen to Shams Charania when it was first announced that LeBron signed on for his player option for this year, the thing that Shams said was he believes, and I'm paraphrasing here, and he being LeBron, could play for 1, 2, 3 more years. That is something that I think that Shams is not saying for no reason. I think that's something that he was told, and I think LeBron feels like that. I mean, look, we haven't really seen any slippage from him. The only slippage we've seen is in terms of availability, just because it's hard to be healthy throughout the course of an 82-game season. But in terms of level of play, he's still been LeBron. I don't think this is the last year. I think it might be the last year, obviously, in a Lakers uniform, and we might have already seen the last of him in a Lakers uniform, but I do think he's still got maybe 2 years left.
Are we talking trade, buyout? Does he play out the season? How do you think this ends for LeBron and where he ends up?
The fact that he opted in means that he gave away a lot of his leverage, right? Like, he could have opted out and gone wherever he wanted, but he wanted his money. And look, I'm not going to blame anybody for not getting their money, but he severely handcuffed himself by doing that, because he can make all the noise he wants. At the end of the day, the Lakers can just go, dude, like, you're under contract, come play for us. He's making a ton of noise too. So it's LeBron. He's one of the players in the league. And when I say players, obviously, but I mean like big boys. He can get generally what he wants. And maybe he's just going to make enough noise that he's going to get flipped here for like Karl Anthony Towns and go to the New York Knicks. I think it's more likely than not he ends up playing the regular season in a Lakers uniform. But he is making a lot of noise, and noise and smoke generally leads to fire. I just wonder if, like, does LeBron have that in his deck, right, where he would be that guy? He's generally always been a pretty good player in that regard.
Right.
He's complained. He's been loud. He's done his thing. But to actively sabotage a team to get his way a la Jimmy Butler, I don't think he's got that in him.
Finishing up our conversation with Jonathan Von Tobel of VSiN, here with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So the news came out just before we got on air, and certainly wanted to talk to you about it. Damian Lillard back in Portland, kind of head scratching, don't you think?
Yes, I don't get it at all, honestly, from both perspectives. From Portland's perspective, I just don't really understand what you're trying to do here. You acquired Drew Holiday. You signed Damian Lillard. Did we not just spend the 3rd overall pick a couple years ago on Scoot Henderson? Like, at some point, are we going to buy in on this kid being your point guard of the future and allowing him to develop? Or is this them fully admitting that that is a experiment that has gone wrong, that they were wrong, and that Henderson's not the guy? Especially after, like, look, Henderson last year, I thought, took some pretty solid steps forward for the most part. Yeah, scoring was down, but efficiency in both field goal percentage overall and three-point shooting was up. And by the way, his scoring might have just been a product of fewer minutes. His minutes per game went down. Like, every step they've taken seems to be anti-Scoot Henderson. So from Portland's perspective, I just don't really understand it. From Dame's perspective, this is, I think, somewhat unfair, but it should be talked about to an extent. He forgoes a chance to go to any one of these other teams to potentially help be the cherry on top of a championship contending squad, and instead elects just to go back home and play out the rest of his career for Portland. That seems like, again, for lack of a better term, that might seem unfair, like the lack of dog in him, right? Like, why, you know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't had a realistic chance at an opportunity for a championship outside of the 1 year you made it to the Western Conference Finals. I would think at some point in your career you wanted that. Instead, you went to Milwaukee. It kind of didn't work, and now you're just kind of taking your money and going back home, it would seem on the surface. That to me is a very surprising move.
Now, before we let you go, you talked about a couple of teams out west in the Denver Nuggets and the Houston Rockets, also the Los Angeles Clippers, and, of course, we touched on the LA Lakers, but it seems like the Eastern Conference is wide open going into next season. Just who do you like? I mean, who's the team that you feel is going to come out the East next year?
I mean, I'm really big on what Atlanta did in this offseason. I really love it, and I've been burned by this Atlanta team before. I've expected things of them, like winning that crappy division and more, and it hasn't really happened. But when you look at what this team can potentially be, Onyeka Okongwu, Kristaps Porzingis, adding Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Luke Kennard, they already have the Great Barrier Thief and Dyson Daniels. I think a lot of people might forget at one point Jalen Johnson was favored to win Most Improved last year. He was brilliant before he got injured. This is a team that is littered with talent along the perimeter at the wing position, with good depth in its front court, with a good lead guard in Trae Young, with some supplement help. Like, Luke Kennard can run your point if you want. We're seeing Kobe Buffkin here in this summer league kind of emerge a little bit and show some consistency. So we'll see if the fourth-year pro can get some done at the backup point guard position. But I think Atlanta's great, and I think that they're a team that hit it out of the park with what they did in this offseason, and they're the team that is going to push all the way up to the top of the Eastern Conference.
Now, before we let you go here, I mean, you know, we're huge fans of the Orlando Magic here in Northeast Florida. Love what they're doing down there in Central Florida. Paulo Banchero looks like an absolute star, superstar in the making by my account. Just what chance are you giving them out east, and what do you think about that squad?
Which squad was it? You broke up.
How do you feel about the Orlando Magic squad going into next season?
I mean, it's hard not to like them. Like, look, they're going to be one of the best defenses in the NBA. If not, maybe even statistically the best defensive team in the league. The problem is, like, they're going to be better on offense with Desmond Bane. Like, their three-point shooting is going to be better. The problem is that, yeah, of course it's going to be better. You were dead last. You know what I mean? Like, how much better can I realistically expect your offense to be? Desmond Bane is not that kind of guy. And you can say, man, they got Tyus Jones. That's really going to help them out. You know what I remember? I remember saying that about the Phoenix Suns last year, right? They got Tyus Jones. That's going to turn around. It's going to be great. And it's not Tyus Jones' fault, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that he is that piece that people expect him to be. And so all of a sudden, I think there's going to be improvement on offense, but again, the bar is very low. And when you get to the postseason, if you can't play half-court offense, it's going to be a problem. So would I be surprised if this team's, like, pushing for a top-3 seed like Atlanta? Absolutely not. There's a vacuum of power in the Eastern Conference. There's not a lot of good teams. But realistically, like, I'm kind of drawing the line at championship contender only because I still think this offense is going to have a very big problem. And that's something that is going to be the difference between them and some of the other contenders in the Eastern Conference.
He is the hoop head and a great friend. He is Jonathan Von Tobel, NBA analyst for VSiN, also doing incredible work with ESPN Las Vegas, giving us a couple moments of his time on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Jonathan, thank you so much. I've missed these conversations, man, and hopefully we can do this again sometime down the road.
Yep, you got it, man. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There he goes. Jonathan Von Tobel out there in Vegas enjoying the Summer League, which I didn't know the Lakers and the Celtics will be going at it tonight at 9 p.m. Thought Summer League would probably be over by now. I know it's over for the Orlando Magic, but thought it'd also be over for all of the teams in Las Vegas. And you would be focusing on the offseason. But more basketball means more fun for us here in Jacksonville, Florida. I was interested really at the last comment he made when it came to the Orlando Magic, and doesn't have them up there with the teams that could potentially come out of the Eastern Conference going into next season and maybe representing the East in the NBA Finals. Well, I'll tell you why I think the Orlando Magic came out as big winners this offseason. Let's talk about it next on Open Gym.
Fall football starts in July with Donovan Air Electric Plumbing SEC Media Days. Catch it live or catch the best of. Locked down by Instant Keys. Catch the best interviews on demand at 1010XL.com.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
You wouldn't drive your car 50,000 miles without an oil change. So why are you ignoring your septic tank? That thing's working around the clock, taking every flush, shower, and mystery casserole down the line. Eventually, it fills up. And when it does, you do not want to find out the hard way. Don't wait for the stink. Septic tanks need to be pumped every 3 to 5 years. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule your septic pump out with the pros at Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck. There's an energy and drama to play-by-play sports.
This crowd, a big factor.
You never know what's going to happen. Wow! Feel the energy on 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and book your space today.
I-9 Sports is geared up for fun for kids all over the First Coast with fall and winter registration open right now. Kids ages 3 to 17 get in the gym or on the field with I-9 Sports, covering Clay, Duval, and St. John's. And I-9 has all-girls flag football at Oakley, UNF, Fletcher, and Creekside. Plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast to take advantage of. Don't miss out. Registration open now for fall and winter at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Chelsea here. Summer is sizzling and so are the savings at Renewal by Anderson. For a limited time, buy 4 windows in our patio doors and receive the 5th free. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. As temperatures rise, so do energy bills. Upgrade to Renewal by Anderson's exclusive Fibrix windows. 2 times stronger than vinyl, remarkably energy efficient, and custom crafted to perfectly fit. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation today. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Are you living with diabetic neuropathy? That pain and numbness in your hands or feet? What about chronic knee or shoulder pain? Maybe you've tried various treatments, but they've been ineffective. Now there's a solution. Dr. Ferdinand Formoso specializes in advanced pain management and offers breakthrough neuromodulation treatments for those conditions. His innovative treatments target the source of your pain, offering relief where medications may fall short. All procedures are performed outpatient with no hospitalization required. Just a chance for you to feel and live better. If you want to learn more, Dr. Formoso is hosting free informational classes where he'll explain the benefits of neuromodulation therapies and how they can help eliminate your pain. Spaces are limited, so call to reserve your spot now with offices on the South Side, West Side, and Jacksonville Beach. Relief is possible with Formoso Spine and Joint Pain Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
A big thank you to Jonathan Von Tobel out there in Vegas, giving us the latest from across the NBA. Make sure to follow him and the great work that he's doing at MeJVT if you want to continue getting great NBA content from a national perspective, as he does great work with VSiN as their NBA analyst. There are just a couple of things when it came to the Orlando Magic that I disagreed upon a little bit. I think he does believe they'll be a much better team, but not better than the Hawks. If you ask me, I thought that the Orlando Magic came out as big winners in this offseason because for me, I feel that there comes a point in time where everything just goes right and you finally break through. And here in Northeast Florida, we're awaiting that with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and hopefully we're closer than we think. I mean, over the last couple of years, we can admit that there have been a couple steps that have been taken back. However, I think next season could be the season for the Orlando Magic. And maybe it's time to buy some stock in this ball club. CBS Sports gave Orlando a B+ for their recent moves. That was the 3rd highest grade in the Eastern Conference. Dante Marchitelli, who we had on last night, felt that it was a home run by the Orlando Magic, what they did this offseason with a few of their moves and acquisitions as well. And when I hear and see those grades, it reminds me of something that I said last offseason when we had the basketball show on Sundays. There were those who are Magic fans that said, hey, if Paul George is saying that he wants to come down here to City Beautiful, you move heaven and earth to bring him. Pair him with Paolo Banchero. He can teach Paolo Banchero. That's going to be another guy that we're going to be able to have that will close out games. Now, I don't know how serious Paul George was or how close he would have been to becoming a member of the Orlando Magic. I feel like he was probably using the Magic as a buffer, see what other teams elsewhere were probably going to offer him. And eventually he decides that he wants to go to Philadelphia. Orlando doesn't fold. Said have fun being with the Sixers. So you get KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, for significantly less than what it would have taken to get Paul George to the table. So in a way, you made the right, but you also made the wrong decision. Because KCP didn't work as well as you would have hoped. And at the time, KCP was the only move that you had made last season of any real significance. And I applaud Jeff Weltman. He was willing to admit he got it wrong. And he used this offseason in an attempt to make everything right. So honestly, with the Desmond Bane move, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think the Orlando Magic got it right. Because for those of us who said, Anthony Simons, Trae Young, guys of that ilk, you probably would have had to give up on a few of your highly productive defensive guys. And I don't feel that they wanted to give up on said highly graded defensive guys. One being the Minister of Defense and Jonathan Isaac. So for Bane, if really all it took was giving up Cole Anthony, who you love, great locker room guy, was a great team guy, the most fun guy that the Magic have had as a player in quite some time. And you also give up Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the guy that you're probably admitting wasn't the right move to make last season. And you give up 4 first-round picks, but I don't have to give up any part of my identity and which has made us such a great team in defense, then sign me up for that. Because those picks, at least the hope is, those picks will be late first-round picks that for you wouldn't have that much value. On top of the fact that Desmond Bane is going to give you another two-way guy who's a sniper from distance. He shot 40% from deep last year. And that's something that you need because your three-point shooting last year, Jonathan Von Tobel spoke about it last segment, woof. You couldn't even shoot league average last season in the NBA if you were the Orlando Magic, which I also feel that for Paolo Banchero wasn't able to pass the ball out to the perimeter shooters. That included guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Gary Harris, who's no longer with the team, Caleb Houston, who's now going to the Atlanta Hawks. He shot better following the All-Star break. But if you had to choose, I feel the answer may be quite simple. You're going to take Desmond Bane over Caleb Houston because what he can do on both sides of the ball. But not only did you acquire a shooter in Bane, you also got Tyus Jones from Phoenix. This is a guy who I feel you've needed for quite a long time. You needed a point guard that is not this, okay, Suggs is hurt. Cole Anthony, maybe he's up and down. Corey Joseph, that's who we're bringing on, Corey Joseph. And I love Joseph, but I did think that the Magic could do better. And I feel that Tyus Jones is the better. In the 2023-24 season, this is when Tyus Jones was with the Washington Wizards. He averaged 7.3 assists per game to just 1 turnover. We bring up Phoenix. Jonathan Von Tobel brought up the year in Phoenix in which Tyus Jones spent. He was on a team that was dominated by 3 offensive players, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. So maybe not getting the ball in his hands enough, and his assist numbers did go down this past season. However, shot 40% from downtown. Also adding to that, you bring back Mo Wagner, which I feel was a very important signing. As much as I love Goga Bitadze, I think it was no question that you bring back a Mo Wagner, not just because of the fact that his brother also plays on the team, but We've seen the production he's had on the floor. And he shot 36% from distance last year. So that now gives you a stretch 4. So this should tell you, for a team that didn't shoot league average from distance last year, you have now brought in 3 guys, 4 if you want to add Jace Richardson, who you drafted, who shot 40% from 3 last year in college. You've now hopefully addressed and will see results from the Magic shooting woes from distance this past season. And with the Bane and Jones signing, you can also talk about Jace Richardson. I'm going to be interested to see how they utilize him year one. I do believe he does need to develop as a point guard, so maybe he goes back and forth between the Osceola Magic and the main squad in Orlando. We'll see what happens there. Maybe he does get significant minutes in Orlando year one. But with Bane and Jones, you've now added 2 3-point shooters and 2 more playmakers that you have on your roster that can go along with your big 3, Banchero, Suggs, and Franz. Speaking of that big 3, probably the biggest move you made was giving the extension to Paolo Banchero. This is a guy who I think is going to take the next step in terms of being in that national spotlight. You look at the numbers he has, what he does, the names he's being associated with when he does these historical landmark stat lines. And for me, what kind of irks me is if this were a Luka Doncic, if this were Wemby, if this was Cooper Flagg, Hall of Fame, All-Star. And understand this, with a torn oblique, we saw what he did. In half a year, when maybe SGA was starting to run away with the MVP, if he would have played a full season, how could he have not been in talks to win MVP? And he came out of the gate, hard body karate, wild for the night, guns blazing. That opening week game that I saw playing against the Miami Heat, the man was an absolute torch. Don't touch me now, you might burn yourself, Paolo Banchero. Same thing with Franz Wagner, who did an exceptional job when Paolo Banchero was out with a torn oblique injury. Killed my Lakers in Los Angeles. Step back jumper, good. Talking trash to the Southern California crowd. Tears his oblique. Jalen Suggs, the heartbeat of this team. He went down. So I could understand Jeff Weltman at the time trying to tell fans to be patient, but there may have also been writing on the wall for him. If you don't figure this out, we may have to go in a different direction. So like Dante Marchitelli said, you're not trying to hype yourself up going into this season, but in a wide open Eastern Conference, how many teams are out there in which you are saying can really make it out of the East? Realistically, I'm looking at maybe 2, Cleveland and New York. It'll be interesting to see how Milwaukee looks. Going into this season, you add Miles Turner. You're now bringing in Cole Anthony. Maybe he's your starting point guard. Don't know. Detroit, I just don't know if Detroit's ready to make the next step. Maybe there's still some learning in which they have to do, although Cade Cunningham is a bad boy. The Atlanta Hawks, we'll have to see it. I don't know if they scare me. But that is a force that's going to be reckoned with in the East, especially with how wide open it is. But the Orlando Magic, in my opinion, this is a team that reminds me the most of the Oklahoma City Thunder. This Orlando Magic ball club, like the Thunder, have drafted and developed well. I understand for the Thunder, outside of the fact that they acquired SGA in a trade for Paul George to send him to the Clippers, you've drafted and developed guys rather well. You make a move for a guy that you'd probably only make if you were going all in. We saw it with OKC. Bring in Isaiah Hartenstein. That's a move you make that you're saying we're going all in with this. Orlando Magic now. Desmond Bane. This is a move that we're making to go all in. And a team that hangs their hat on defense. One of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA. Won the NBA championship. Hanging their hat on defense. The Magic, even with all the injuries, a tough out on the defensive end. So for me, I wouldn't leave it out of the realm of possibility, in my opinion, that if this Magic team stays healthy, the pieces in which you brought in to help out with your big three, they're able to knock down shots from downtown. Who's to say that they can't make a deep playoff run? And you know what? Even make the NBA Finals. That's how open this Eastern Conference is, in my opinion. I would love to hear your opinion. 641-1010. Cities and teams you'd never play for. We discuss next on Open Gym.
Get more Gators with Dan Hickett and me, Frank Frangie, on all things Gators on 1010XL Gators Podcast, with new episodes every Monday, brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Sun's out, savings out. That's what this summer is all about. Hurry to Kia on Atlantic this month to maximize your fun in the sun. Make no payments for 90 days and drive new Kia starting under $20K. Plus, it's easy to shop for new Kias when you know we have financing rates starting at 0. Take advantage of the sunniest time of year and drive away with the sunshine savings from here. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your Kia Coastal Connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
What are the many ways to experience 1010XL?
Why don't we just take it from the top?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at 1010XL.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy. Why so glum?
Stinky ice cubes, Jason. It's all downhill from here.
What?
The tap water at my place smells kind of funky. Funky tap water makes funky ice cubes. I meet a nice girl, invite her back to my place for a cocktail, and blow my whole romantic gesture with a mojito that smells like dog's feet.
Wait, I can totally make you way cooler.
I'm not taking your charity ice cubes, Jason. I have my pride.
Your pride is safe. Our plumbers can be at your house the day you call and install a whole home water purification system. Water tastes better, dishes come out cleaner, even your hair feels better after you shower.
Ooh, the ladies love a man with soft hair, don't they, Jason?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend every day worried about the water in your own home, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Hey, Hickett here. Think you got the ugliest garage floor on the First Coast? Your garage a crack-stained hot mess? Hold on to your squeegee. Checkmate Coatings is hunting for the worst garage floor out there. And the winner gets a free garage coating makeover. Whoa! Take 10 seconds. Snap a pic of that garage eyesore. Register at checkmatecoatings.com/contests for a chance to win a free floor coating. It's easy. Just snap a quick pic and enter for a chance to win at checkmatecoatings.com/contest. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
How many Major League Baseball players have played exclusively for the Yankees and the Mets?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Just 6 Major League players have played exclusively for the Yankees and the Mets, including the famous Yankee catcher Yogi Berra.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
There's a lot of curiosity going around the city of Jacksonville as to what you would like to see in this year's training camp. A lot to be optimistic about, and also a lot that the Jaguars need to work on. If you ask me, I want to see a lot of simulations this training camp, not only in the red zone, but also on third down conversions. What is the team going to do in those sequences? Also, we spoke with Matt Hayes early on in the program. Florida Gator fans, he says 10 wins. That's the ceiling. Over or under 10 wins. I have a former Gator here. Over, under, 10 wins?
10 wins, I'm definitely taking the under on that.
Definitely taking the under.
Yeah, you can't. Over 10 wins. Dude, if Florida goes 10-2, they might be one of the best teams in the country. Yeah, 10 wins, definitely taking under. The question is, when you get to 7.5, 8, that's where you start getting picky.
Now, we also spoke with Jonathan Von Tobel, speaking about the NBA Summer League. Phil's Cooper flag is going to be chalk to become NBA Rookie of the Year. didn't believe in the Orlando Magic as he does the Atlanta Hawks. I like what the Hawks did this offseason, but the Magic have been together for quite some time, and it feels to me that they're ready to take the next step. Although I will admit the Atlanta Hawks have been a squad led by Trae Young. You also have the great barrier thief. Have Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu. Those are guys that now, with the addition of Kristaps Porzingis, they could have something to say in what's probably going to be considered this year a weak East. But if you ask me, the Orlando Magic, with the moves they made and with the injuries to guys like Halliburton, we don't know how the Pacers are going to look. Maybe it'll be business as usual. Maybe there's going to be somebody who's going to step up and become that guy that's a shot in the arm for the Pacers. I wonder how they figure out and how they answer the Miles Turner departure. I get the fact that you brought in James Wiseman. Is that enough? In my opinion, I do not think so. The Boston Celtics, there's no Jason Tatum this year. Jaylen Brown, Anthony Simons. What are you doing? Is that a team in which we're looking at that we say that's business as usual with the Boston Celtics? If not, then the Cleveland Cavaliers, the New York Knicks, and the Magic, I feel, is the 3-team race in the Eastern Conference. So the reason why I bring this up, I want to have a little bit of fun with you guys before we close out our Thursday show. Paul George, he's now back from his hiatus because for those who follow the Podcast P show with Paul George, he was going to take a break. Now he's back. And when it comes to a team he would never play for, this was his answer.
Listen, if I'm a free agency, I'm not picking Charlotte just because there's no winning culture there alone. Right. Regardless, Charlotte is an amazing city. Yes. Would love to play for it because of the city. Like, I could see myself living there. But in terms of a basketball standpoint, I'm not going out. Like, my career over with if I go there.
It's hilarious, the fact that he does say that. Now, I would like to feel that, if you're an LA fan, you would say any team but the Clippers. I can understand the reason and why he did it. I think he and Kawhi Leonard said we can really turn this team around. The Clippers have never had any major playoff success. Of course, you had Lob City. You had that great team in 2006 that was led by Sam Cassell and Cuttino Mobley. However, meh. It's been a lot of meh for the Clippers. And you decided to go to them over the Lakers. We've now gone to Philly. I think he's probably in the mode of he's stealing money. He's in that part of his career. Barely played last season. And that's a team. In a wide open East, you're not even mentioning the Sixers. And maybe you would say at any other time, that would be the team. But they don't matter to me. Doesn't mean a doggone thing to me. Just feel like the three of them are going to get injured at some point. But I do want to hear from you guys. Give me a couple of teams or a couple of cities that you would never play for or play in. Dylan and I have come up with 3 apiece. Dylan, I will allow you to start first. Give me, in no order, your first team or city you would never play for or in.
Toronto. It's too cold. And I ain't going to Canada.
I have heard that by a lot of NBA players, They have to pay American tax and also Canadian tax?
Yeah, you get taxed on where you play, and that Canadian tax is wicked. So miss me on that.
Toronto, his first, number 1. Me, and I love Rick Ballou. Boston, I'm not playing. I'm an LA guy.
Boston Celtics?
I would never play for the Celtics.
Okay.
I would never, ever.
But that's more of your fandom.
That's more of my fandom.
Okay.
If I was a free agent, listen, hey, look, we saw Monty Williams. Monty Williams was probably a guy that probably said, listen, I would never coach in Detroit. Detroit offered him $100 million. And I think Detroit looked very, very promising for him then. And they still owe him every last red penny of it. But if it were left to me, unless you're giving me a king's ransom, I'm not playing for the Boston Celtics. Number 2, Dylan Denmark.
Cleveland Browns, terrible ownership. I ain't going there. It's like Joakim Noah said, who goes to vacation to Cleveland?
Who goes to vacation in Cleveland? Joakim Noah. It's a great song about Cleveland. At least we're not Detroit. My number 2, city. Well, no, I won't say city. I think I maybe would like the city. I've never been there. Just couldn't see myself playing for the Titans. It's fandom, yes. I just couldn't see myself in that, what do we want to call it, baby blue and the red and the white? No, I would, bleh. Couldn't do it. Number 3, Dylan Denmark.
I'm going to go, this was a little tough one. I had to reach for this, but I'm going to say Cincinnati. They have terrible ownership as well. I mean, we're talking about dudes that still have to walk across a public street to go to a practice field. I mean, dude, it's 2025. This isn't 1995. Like, put some money into your facilities and treat your players better.
See, isn't that a problem when teams and organizations don't do better with the players and going into this new era, this new lens, as Kevin Garnett likes to call it? That's an issue. Number 3 for me, I just don't want to live in Northern California. I'm a SoCal kid. And I hated the fact that many people became Golden State Warrior fans out of nowhere. I understand it may be a beautiful place. It may be nice, San Francisco. Not for me. All right, it's a whole different planet for me, being 6 hours away if I were still living in Los Angeles, California. The 350, Portland, has crashed and burned. Never. Portland. I got a guy in my basketball group chat who's from Portland. I'll have to ask him how Portland looks. The 314 says, I need to watch Jay Huff and the highlight reel that he's displayed. Pacers did more than just bring in Wiseman, also with the development of Mathurin, Walker, Nembhard, playing the 1 for an entire season. The Pacers are going to be the 5th seed in the East. That's their bottom. That's what I'm saying. I don't rule out the Pacers at all. I don't. And I like Jay Huff. But Jay Huff, I also liked him when he was on the Lakers Summer League team. I loved him when he was on the Magic Summer League team. Could the Pacers be a home for Jay Huff? Could he get quality minutes with the Pacers? That's something we shall absolutely see. It has been a Thursday edition of Open Gym. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 6 o'clock on Friday.